96% Tentacruel. So I basically got the Tentacruel during the spotlight hour, and then it was shiny. I'm like, oh, let's go. And then it was 96, and I'm like, huh? I just gotta invest in it. So I evolved the Tentacruel and into a Tentacruel, obviously, and I got a new attack on it as well because I want to show it for a video and show how underrated it is. And then I also want to show that it can handle Azu pretty well. And the reason why we went for the Rock Slide here was because we resist all of the moves that the Azu throws at us for our Tentacruel. And we just want to farm a lot because if they bring in that Galarian Stunfisk, then we can go for a Hydro Pump to catch them by surprise. If they know, like, we have only, like, Blizzard or, like, Acid Spray, but they actually go into Hypno, and my swap, it was not swapping, so I took 2 extra Confusions, and they hit me with a Fire Punch. I just wanted to see if they have, like, Thunder Punch, Shadow Ball, or something like that, but they hit me with the Fire Punch, so I know they have a punch that is super effective against my Meganium. They go for another Fire Punch, and we barely get to the Frenzy Plant. Well, not barely. He was about 1 Confusion away, but glad I got to that Frenzy Plant. So it's a simultaneous knockout. He has that Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and since we farmed a lot of energy on that Azumarill, we took the win there, firing off that Hydro Pump against the Galarian Stunfisk. So, Tentacruel v Vigoroth. And if you notice that I'm rank 6, it's because the first battles was basically a bonus because I just gotta show it. Like, I was randomly recording. I gotta show it because I landed that Hydro Pump against the Galarian Stunfisk. So that's just a bonus battle for you guys. So the Acid Spray does get a shield against the Vigoroth. So that's gonna be good for us because the Acid Spray does like no damage. So Vigoroth, I believe, wins CMP against Tentacruel because Vigoroth is overall just like a really spammy Pokemon, and I don't think the Pokemon Company or like the Pokemon games would make it. So it has a pretty high attack stat because like Pokemon that are glassy, they make it with a high attack stat like Shiftry or something else. Like Azumarill doesn't have a really high attack stat because it's so tanky. So they have a Toxicroak in the back, and things are not looking too good for us since our back line is weak to Toxicroak. And maybe our Tentacruel too, because the Mud Bombs will be doing super effective damage. So they shield up that Earthquake right there. And if you haven't noticed, we're running a double Earthquake team. So yeah, just pointing that out. So they go for the Dynamic Punch there. Glad it wasn't a Sludge Bomb because that would have KO'd us, and we wouldn't be able to get to that Frenzy Plant on our Meganium. And I thought we were like totally dead there, but they have a Bastiodon in the back, so now we can go for Earthquake, and this is going to be one-shotting the Bastiodon. I kind of feel bad for that dude because he got lag, and if he didn't get it, he would have easily been able to get to the Flamethrower, because like after that Smackdown before he got to the Earthquake, he was at a Flamethrower. So we had a Stunfisk v Tentacruel lead, which is not good, getting completely hard countered. So we're going for the Rock Slide bait against our Galarian Stunfisk, and it gets the shield because most players go straight for the Earthquake. So I would expect the shield. So now we're gonna be going for the Earthquake. I didn't think it was gonna land, but it does land, and we want switch advantage, so we can line up everything properly for our master plan at the end. So we're going for the Rock Slide here, doing about 25% to the opposing Meganium, and they did a perfect overfarm because we just got to the Rock Slide, and Meganium obviously wins CMP against the Galarian Stunfisk. So now we're going to be going into our Tentacruel, and I think this was too soon, so this was a Frenzy Plant. Does about 60% or more, and I should have went for the Acid Spray there because now we are forced to let this go through because we want to save a shield for our Meganium, but that could have been good since we can farm 1 extra Vine Whip. So they have a Drifloon in the back, and Icy Wind is super effective. And they let this go through as kind of a mistake because they should shield that, and since the Icy Wind is debuffing me, then the Frenzy Plant will do less after, and yeah, just something to learn right there. So they're going to be shielding up the second Frenzy Plant we throw at them, and they're going for an Icy Wind, doesn't KO us, and this was actually a pretty close match. So Frenzy Plant coming through here, doesn't take it out, and the Vine Whips almost finish it off. So if they had like 1 hex off or 2 hexes off, then we would have been able to win that game, which is pretty amazing that Meganium can almost win against a Drifloon if they let the first Frenzy Plant go through. So Gastrodon vs our Tentacruel, and I know the moveset, it's Mud Slap, Body Slam, Earth Power. And we're going for the Acid Spray bait here. Hopefully they shield, but they don't shield. But at least their defense is harshly lowered, so we can easily farm down with our Meganium. And they make a mistake here. They swap into Altaria, which leaves our Galarian Stunfisk to easily clean up this. And whatever they have in the back, our Meganium is going to be trying to set up to take that too. So they already have a Gastrodon, so I think they won't have another water type user because then they'd be very weak to grass. But again, they have that Altaria, which is a hard counter to almost any grass type Pokemon in the meta, except if you have like a Whimsicott, which has Charm. So they go for the Body Slam here. We still have 2 shields, but we're holding on to them. They go in with the Altaria, and we don't want any Dragon Breath damage. You see we're green health, but now we're yellow health. I don't know how those Dragon Breaths just snuck in like that, but that's fine. So they're going for the Sky Attack. We get a bit of lag, but that didn't change how many fast moves we got off, like relative to our like damage per every turn. And they go in with their Azu, and I know we're gonna win this, so I just flex and then go in with the Galarian Stunfisk, and I know I had a Rock Slide ready to go, so we take out the Azu, and yeah, we just win that game. So now we're matched up against Agnaglass. Dang. Okay, Tentacruel v Cherim. Finally a good lead. So this is a Razor Leaf Cherim. If it was Bullet Seed, it would be better, since the only thing they could do is Weather Ball, but the Razor Leafs are neutral, so it'll be chunking away at our kind of squishy Tentacruel. So we get the shield on the Acid Spray, and even though the Weather Ball is resisted, it would still KO us, so we're gonna shield. So they go in with Galarian Stunfisk, and we're going for the Hydro Pump, and it lands. They weren't even aware. They just thought it was like poison moves or something. So we go in with Meganium. I didn't want to take any risks that they already had an Earthquake, so I didn't go in with my Galarian Stunfisk. And they have a Shadow Victreebel in the back. Rock Slide is about 50%, so I think you should always like bait first with the Rock Slide because they're probably going to shield, because Shadow Victreebel is pretty squishy. So it gets the shield. I think Rock Slide would still almost KO, which is fine. But we're just going for the Earthquake in case their Galarian Stunfisk is very low and we just mud shot them down with one of those. So we take game, I don't know. So Tentacruel vs Bastiodon. So this is obviously a horrible lead because they double resist the Poison Jabs. And yes, we have Hydro Pump, but we have to get to 2 of those. So now they have Cherim. And I think they're going to run the Bastiodon double Razor Leaf users. But the thing is, the Cherim doesn't have Razor Leaf. It's running Bullet Seed. So their Cherim, again, is running Bullet Seed. But we're going to be getting to the Frenzy Plants. Weather Balls are still going to hurt, like we just shielded one. Because it will do super effective, and Cherim does have a pretty high attack stat, but we can get to a Frenzy Plant before another Weather Ball comes through, which is really good, and they let it go through, so which is really great, because now our Galarian Stunfisk can clean up the Bastiodon. Even though the Flamethrowers are super effective, it only does about 40%, and you can just go straight Earthquake, because they probably won't even shield. So, Flamethrower coming through here. Not going to do much for super effective damage. And like I said, they have the Razor Leaf user in the back. And they get to a Leaf Blade. And we're going to be shielding this because we want their defense to be lowered. Even though Rock Slide, again, would still KO from the spray. And we want to get that Poison Jab damage. And I thought they almost had a Leaf Blade, so I just went for the safe play and just went for the Rock Slide because I knew we can easily get to the Earthquake against the Bastiodon, and obviously it's going to be finishing it off, and that is our GG. On to the next battle. We're matched up against Hitoshi16. Okay, so Tentacruel vs Arcanine. Okay, finally a good lead. So the Fire Fangs will be resisted, but we got to watch out for the Wild Charge. They switch into Shadow Victreebel, and it does win against Galarian Stunfisk, but we still want to like swap into it since we don't really have an answer to it. So they get to the Leaf Blade right here, or no, it's an Acid Spray, but that still mattered. Do you know why? Because after this Rock Slide, the Razor Leaves will chunk, and we're barely left with any health. So the Acid Spray would have done some damage, and we maintain switch advantage here. Otherwise, our Meganium would be matched up against a Shadow Arcanine with Fire Fang. So I don't care if this is a Wild Charge, because if it is, the defense will be lowered by 4 stages, and the Vine Whips will be able to finish off the Arcanine. And they have a Shadow Gardevoir in the back. I'm like, are you kidding? And I thought I wasn't going to get to 2 Frenzy Plants, but we get to the Frenzy Plant barely. The stats really mattered there, because then the Charm that just went through would have finished us off. But we have good stats there, and we win the final game, which is really good for us. I kind of recommend this team. I wouldn't use it to climb or something. So I hope you guys liked today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!